If you found out you have 1 year left in your lifetime, let's even go back and say 1 year left in your career, how and what would you do differently? What would you stop worrying about? What would you double down on? What would that mean in terms of your business going forward if you only had 1 year left in your business legacy? How would you address it?
That's a hard question.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to leave a legacy of positivity in the world around them. Whether you are a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, a nonprofit executive director, or even a soon-to-be entrepreneur, one fact is always true. The easiest and most effective way to catalyze change in the world around you is through commerce and through business. But how do you do it? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Changemakers Collective, a place where people can come and get educated and encouraged and empowered to be the impact agent in the world around them. Brought to you by Silverback Ventures, Steph Thomas and Scott Woods have over 50 years combined experience helping companies and owners amplify the voice and multiply the impact of purpose-driven businesses. Join us each week as we discuss what it means to live a life of purpose on purpose.
Okay, welcome back to the Changemakers Collective with Scott and Steph and Silverback Ventures and Novice Studios. We are so very glad you're here because this is something I'm excited to talk about. I hope, Steph, you are as well. So the question I pose right off the bat is if you found out you have 1 year left in your lifetime, let's even go back and say 1 year left in your career, how and what would you do differently? What would you stop worrying about? What would you double down on? What would that mean in terms of your business going forward if you only had 1 year left in your business legacy? How would you address it?
That's a hard question.
Yeah. What would you stop worrying about?
So Scott, one of the questions that you were like, hey, you need to kind of think about this is, when do you start thinking about your legacy? The knee-jerk reaction is at the end, right?
That's why it's called legacy.
Right. But you leave a legacy all the way through, whether it's good or bad, right? You leave a legacy with your children. You leave a legacy with your parents. Your parents leave a legacy with you. You leave a legacy the day that you start building your business. So if I were to say, when did I start thinking about my legacy? It would have been at my midpoint when I'm starting to think about retiring versus when I am gung-ho and going. I wish someone had asked me that question 25 years ago.
Yeah, it's super hard. It's a super hard question. And man, I get to speak, as you know, with college students all the time who are amazing, and watch out because they are absolutely going to turn this world upside down. However, they are very much about doing and doing and doing and doing and doing. And the question around, because I constantly ask the question, if you didn't have to work, what would you do? Okay, you get the answers, I'd take a trip around the world, I'd buy the cars,
But at some point you're bored.
Yes, you're now 25, you don't have to work. So what problem are you trying to solve? That's ultimately what I want to get to. And I think every time I ask that question, I come back to myself and say, okay, Scott, what problem are you trying to solve? Because if you only had a year in which to do it, what would change about your everyday? We all have had the conversation like, okay, if I got diagnosed with a terminal illness, how would I change my lifestyle?
I hate that question. This is why. What would I do different if I only had a year to live? If I knew I only had a year to live, why would I worry about only having a year to live? Right?
What do you mean?
Well, okay. It's much like, do you build your resume or your eulogy, right? If I'm building my resume, I am all in as many things as I can pack into my repertoire, right?
Look at you.
Who wants to hire me? Because I've got all this stuff. If I'm thinking of my eulogy, I'm thinking of how many lives did I touch? what did I try to do?
Come on.
And I was successful at changing. I made a difference. And those two things are not the same. So when you're like, okay, well, you have a
Yeah,
terminal.
hold on. But they should be.
Right.
That's the whole point of this conversation.
Absolutely.
Is your resume virtues and your resume accomplishments and your focus on building and your focus on impact should align. And that's the whole conversation here, is that especially as an impact-driven business, if you only had a year left, and that's why I said whether you had a year left to live or you had a year left in your business,
right,
those conversations should be the same.
Right.
You are not going to be focused on your next, marketing campaign. No offense to our digital marketing team.
Who are spectacular, by the way.
You're not going to be focused on external factors that ultimately don't add to or get you closer to delivering on your brand promise.
But Scott, it's a mindset. There's a mindset. And
that's the whole reason why we're having this conversation.
Right. I love that you started out by saying, because you do get to touch so many lives that are right at that age. They're graduating college, they're trying to not have a nervous breakdown because they don't know what they're going to do tomorrow when they walk across the stage to graduate. We, as people that are, and not everybody, I'm just saying me, maybe is a better one. I don't do enough of the, hey, it's not that serious right now. Reset, change your mindset, and be proactive. Don't just be busy to be busy.
Oh, come on. That's so good. I'm a big, and this may surprise some people because my background and my life is so intricately and completely revolves around my faith. But I'm also a big Stoic philosophy guy. And there's a principle called memento mori, which means remember your death. Like focus on the fact that today's the only day you have. Mm-hmm. And if you align how you're acting and how you're showing up and how you're making decisions based on today only, it definitely changes that stress level. It definitely changes. Okay, we just got done a podcast about strategic planning.
Right.
We are huge strategic planning people. We are not huge strategic 10-year plan people.
No.
The world is changing far too fast. Focus on what you can do today. What are you doing today that gets you one step closer to solving the problem you set out to? And this is both a business principle and a personal principle.
Yeah.
If your desire and your calling is to live a life of purpose on purpose, and that purpose for my life is to speak life and truth into young people. If I am not doing something today that's going to impact them, then I'm wasting that moment of time. Now, I will say that's super, super, super hard when you also have to say, okay, well, I've also got to pay for the groceries. Mm-hmm. So this is why we talk about focusing on the impact of your business will automatically and will ultimately generate the dollars. If you focus on the dollars, you're going to potentially miss out on having the impact you want to have.
Scott, you and I kind of go back and forth, and I'm sure if people have listened, when they listen to multiple podcasts of ours.
Which they should be listening.
Please do. Like and listen and share.
Subscribe. Yes.
I say live a life in purpose, on purpose. Mm-hmm. So, and that comes from, again, it's a faith-based statement, but it could be used in a faith-based or non-faith-based mindset. But if you are in purpose, if you are doing exactly what you were built to do, then on purpose, you are going to do great things.
Well, think about if you choose, and again, as you know, I'm a big revisionist history guy. What if you did the opposite? What if you knew all along that, man, this is what I feel like I was created to do. And you chose to do something not that. And this is the conversation I have all the time. Like, okay, I had the conversation where all these students and even young entrepreneurs and frankly, executives that have been in business forever say, once I get to this point, then I'm going to start doing the impact work. Then I'm going to start giving away to charities, even though I got $1 billion in the bank. Then is a mile marker that will never get here.
I just had that conversation with a young person, younger than me. It was a person that just graduated, and they graduated, they got their teaching degree, they hate teaching. And I said, well, okay, now going to school was not cheap. Why'd you do that? My mom's a teacher, my dad's in the school system. And I said, okay, what do you want to do? And the first was like a ha, I want to be a rodeo person. And I was like, no, okay. Like, they wanted to like make blankets and donate them to, I said, okay, what's stopping you? Well, I got to pay bills. And I said, okay, what does that look like? Exactly what you just said. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to teach for about 10 years. And I said, okay, can you do both? What little thing can you do today to get you closer to that? Well, I just got to find a job. And I thought, oh, I'm heartbroken.
Yes, what a missed opportunity. And I mean, this goes back to the episode we just wrapped around collaboration. Like, that is an instance where you say, okay, this is what my heart's desire is to do. I want to provide comfort and warmth to those people who don't have it. I've got a skill set that enables me to do that. Full stop. Find other people that can help you walk that path. Find collaboration partners that can help you get into the Amazon market, whatever the case may be. But if you take your skills and talents and you just kind of push them down, one, you're never going to be happy in your job because you're always going to be looking over your shoulder going, man, I really wish I was making blankets for poor people.
Zion, who I'm sure he
is going to be, your son is going to be very excited to be on the podcast. He's now a celebrity.
Oh, absolutely. So Zion went to school and okay, shame on my husband. He took us on this little helicopter ride and like immediately Zion knew and, there was a whole other piece of that and it just, so he goes to school and we are like, you have to have a degree. You have to have a degree. You have to have a degree. And that used to be a criteria for being a pilot. But he never wanted to do what he was in school to do, business school. But to manage your money, to, you may want to manage planes or so you have to have something. Now he's in flight school. And the difference between going to class for college, for a job that he knows he will never take, and watching him talk about learning to fly a plane, it is like two different people.
Well, and I've created a personal inventory for all the students I work with. I won't call it a personality test because it's not that. It's not prescriptive. It's revelatory for the person who's taking it. Like, okay, who are you to you? And one of the things that comes out of that is every time I'm talking to the students about this, when they start talking about what their calling is, their face gets red, their eyes get lit up, and they're super animated. Like, you have got to do, that's what you're supposed to do. Now, if your passion that you get all excited about is being a rodeo clown, there may be a harder pathway for you to make money. We totally believe that if you're breathing, your job is not only supposed to benefit you, it's supposed to impact those around you. So, and maybe there's a way to do that as a rodeo clown. Who knows? You're protecting those people who are riding the bulls, whatever the case may be. But your goals and your passions, if you know that this is what you're supposed to do, there has never been more ways to make money. So get after it.
Samuel Chan, who smart man, he wrote many books, but one of the book is Who Moved My Ladder, and he was the president of Bethel. I may be wrong on what that is, but he started out being the janitor.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew where he wanted to go, but he had to start somewhere.
So there's a process. You
There
don't
is a
graduate and
process.
immediately walk into, and that's the tension.
Right.
The tension is there is some truth around, hey, I've got to build my resume in order to get to where I want to be at my eulogy.
Mm-hmm.
But you have an opportunity to curate your resume so that it gets closer, so that you're not on your deathbed and going, oh man, I wish I would have done X, Y, and Z.
So, Scott, one of the things that you said, but I'm sure I interrupted you as you were saying it. Sorry. What would you stop worrying about? If you gave yourself a 1-year limit, if you were given a year, or if you gave yourself a year, what would you stop worrying about? Why is that so important?
Because worry is a trap built on a limiting factor of fear. If you're anticipating something bad happening, you automatically shrink, not expand.
Right.
And if you're shrinking down to the lowest common denominator of, I just got to get through the day, you're not curating your day to have the most impact. You're not making decisions for growth. You're making decisions based on protection. And there are times and seasons in your life where you have to, external factors are going to cause you to be in protection mode. Right? If you have an illness, or you have, a catastrophic thing happen where, you're heavily invested in Bitcoin and it just went down by 2/3 yesterday. That could be a problem where you have to go into protection mode. But if you're living your life in a position of fear and anticipation of something bad happening, you're going to always limit your growth. You're going to always limit the fact that you can have an impact no matter where you are, no matter what position you're in, but you have to focus on it. And I think that's the conversation.
I think that let's put a topic around that. So as we talk about people, most people worry about money.
Oh, 100%,
right?
Yes.
So most people are making business decisions based on money, right? You can't grow unless you spend a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't grow, you're really going to adversely affect your business, right? So when you were talking about, okay, what kind of legacy would I live? As you reflect back, do you want to think, man, if I'd have just hired 2 more people, man, if I didn't take XYZ vacation this year so that I could hire someone in my business so that next year I could take a great vacation. I mean, those are little things that, okay, maybe make a list of what all am I worrying about that really I can get a good plan around, or I can strategize around.
Yeah, I love that idea. And your idea about the vacation thing, one of the principles I was reading in this book was, again, that's Strength to Strength by Alfred Brooks. He talks about having a reverse bucket list, which I thought was the coolest idea, whereas most people add things to their bucket list. I want to accomplish this and accomplish this and accomplish this and go here and do this and have this much money. And it becomes a driver of activity that is solely based on you as an individual. Very few bucket lists are, I want to solve for world hunger. Most bucket lists are, I want to travel around the world and I want to have a meal in every state, which is on my bucket list. And his whole idea was, okay, take a look at your bucket list and start reducing it by things that are you focused, and start adding things that are outward focused. Because if we're talking about how people are going to remember us at the end of this year, whether it's a year that ends with you, God forbid, dying, or a year that ends with your business ending, how are you going to impact the world around you tomorrow?
That is so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was the very neat. And then the other thing he mentioned was that, and I'll test this out. This is going to be a very interesting conversation. So when I say the words, a masterpiece in progress, what's the first picture that comes to your mind? If I say, I'm going to create a masterpiece, what's the thing that you think of immediately as an artist?
As an artist?
Yes. If you're the artist and you're going to create a masterpiece, what is the immediate image you have in your mind of how you get started?
Oh, there's all kinds of preparation that just happened.
Typically, you're starting with something blank, like a blank canvas that you're going to add to, right?
I immediately imagined drop cloth, lots of paints, and a blank canvas.
All right, that's perfect. So that is think about that image. You're talking about something you have to add to it to become a masterpiece. That is a very much Western U.S. mindset that we have to create the masterpiece.
Right.
In Eastern cultures, and those especially in sculpting, look at a piece of marble or jade and say, the masterpiece is already in there. I have to strip back all the stuff that's unnecessary to reveal the masterpiece.
That's really cool.
Dude, I got to say that because that is transformational if you get that. If your thought process is, I have to build and add to and get more education and get more jobs and get more degrees and be involved in more clubs in order to create a masterpiece, Eastern philosophy and arguably the better thought process is, because we all know we're already a masterpiece, how do we reveal what's already there by stripping back all the stuff that we don't need to be doing?
Super cool. That's super cool. Like, it even changed, as you were saying that, it changed, you just said masterpiece. You didn't give me, although we were on the same thought process, I thought of creating. As soon as you started thinking or saying that, my whole mind shifted on how do you bring that out. Like,
well, and he's a former musician.
I'm a
so
whittler.
When he was talking about music, he said, I'm sitting down with my whatever instrument he plays, and I got a piece of paper with the scales and all that kind of stuff that I don't have any idea how to do. But he's like, I'm starting to compose notes, and I'm doing whatever I'm doing. And I'm adding stuff, adding a note here, adding a note there. He said the whole philosophy that it is already there. You just have to reveal it. It's already in nature.
So
it's
cool.
already in you. It's already in the world around you. You just have to strip down all of the extraneous things that we as humans add to our lives that are unnecessary. Hence the reverse bucket list. Strip away all the stuff that's all about bringing prideful accolades to yourself, and start thinking about how do you simplify your life so that you can be a greater impact to the people around you. Ooh, man, come on.
Thinking of the eulogy thought process. As you're going through this, again, we always have a podcast and we have an idea but our conversations really shape like what's next. So as you were talking about that, I thought, man, if first of all, if I die tomorrow, we are not opening my casket. But let's have a picture.
Just so
everybody knows.
Just so we know.
There's some confusion with my family. That's what we're doing. But if you could listen to what the people say, not in a prideful state. We always want people to say good things about us.
Of course.
Not a prideful state. If you could be a fly on the wall, I would want people to say that I made a difference in their life. I supported them when they need, like all the things that are people facing, not self-representative facing. And I think if we look at our businesses like that, much as how you started this, what could I solve to help someone? Not what could I do to make the money to buy the
next piece of equipment,
property or whatever. It really would change my mindset on how I do things.
So that's our challenge for all of our listeners and for us, is as we think about tomorrow, not 5 years down the road, not 20 years down the road, not even a year down the road. What are we doing today that is going to leave a lasting impact in a singular person today? Because we all know there's a ripple effect of impact. If we have the ability to, and this is a silly analogy, but if we have the ability to bring joy to someone's life in the line at the grocery store, that person is then in turn much more apt to bring joy to the people around them than it just ripple effects out. That's what we talk about when we're living a life of purpose, on purpose. How do you create? How do you use the gifts and talents that you've been given to make an impact in the world around you? That is our challenge for you for today, not for next year, for today. What are you doing today that is going to leave a lasting positive impact in the next person you meet? So shut this off and go make an impact. Live a life of purpose, on purpose today. Today, and those days will continue to grow as you grow. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Changemakers Collective. If you've enjoyed this episode, please help us grow our community by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or rating us on Spotify.
You can also find our podcast on YouTube, so you can come and leave us a comment over there as well. If you want support growing your business and scaling your vision, visit us at silverbackventures.org or connect with us on LinkedIn.
Thanks again, and we'll see you on our next episode.